Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lainey. Thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, we're going to be doing my Pan Those Shadows finale, so if you're interested in seeing that, then just keep on watching. Before we get into that though, please remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video from me. Alright you guys, so we are doing my Pan Those Shadows finale. I'm going to quickly go through the progress I made in the last month, as well as talking about kind of overall numbers from the past year, and what's to come next for this project. So let's start out with the eyeshadow updates. And it's not like the most exciting, but I did hit pan in one shadow, and it is the Melt Makeup or Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette. I was working on the shade Sweet Tooth, which is the shade right here, and I just had to use it one more time to hit pan. It was pretty, I had a pretty deep dip from my last update, and I ended up using it as eyeliner, mixing it with Duraline, and even if I didn't do that, I definitely would have hit pan. So yeah, I'm happy to finally have a pan in this palette. Not my favorite shimmer formula, to be completely honest, but I'm glad that I was able to get use on it that I otherwise wouldn't have. Next up, I had the shade 042 from my Tammy Tenuka Lavender Chinchilla palette, and that is going to be the middle shade in the top row. It looks like this, and I only used this once in the last month, so obviously no pan in sight, not even a dip. Yeah, it's pretty firm in the pan. I just wasn't reaching for these tones in the last month, and I meant to wear it at least one more time, but I just didn't, and that's okay. So, I'm glad that it was in the project, though. It was fun to use. And then we had the shade Marshmallow Pillows from Davina, and I used this quite a bit. I used this 6 times in the last month. Unfortunately, no pan, but there is a pretty sizable dip, if you can tell. So I do think I'm going to keep this in the back of my mind to keep using and just try to hit pan on it still, because I do think it's not too far away. Probably maybe 4 uses or so, I think that would have pan. So I'm glad to work on that. I'm not really a pink eyeshadow person, so I'm glad I was able to get use on it. And then we have the shade Cascade from Lethal Cosmetics, which is this shadow right down here. And obviously the imprint's still there. There's no dip, but I was able to get use on it. I used it a lot with that Marshmallow Pillow shade, and I used it 4 times in the last month. So I was really happy about that. I really enjoyed it. I primarily used it just into the crease and buffed over the lid, and then topping it with Marshmallow Pillows. It made a beautiful pairing, so I really enjoyed having the shade Cascade in this project. And finally, we had the shade Float Your Crib from the ColourPop Star Wars The Child palette. And I had the shade Float Your Crib, which I used 4 times as well. And there is some disturbance in the pan and a small dip forming, but obviously no pan in sight. ColourPop mattes are very difficult to hit pan on, but I'm glad I was able to get some good use on it. And I love a green shadow, so I was happy to work on this. So just going over some numbers really quickly. In this project, I worked on 26 total eyeshadows, 15 of which I hit pan on. The other ones I either met goal or decided to roll them out, so I'm really happy with that. I was able to rotate through quite a bit of shadow, and I was able to hit pan in 15, which is awesome. And for example, when I rolled in my Beauty Bay Book of Magic palette, I learned that it was very easy to hit pan. So I was able to get even more shadows with pan on them, because I was like, oh, well, I can easily work on this. So that's overall for the project, some of my numbers. And then for pan percentage, I currently own 739 eyeshadow pans, which is a lot. I have 47 pans in my collection, so 47 of my eyeshadows. You can see that nice and shiny pan, and that gives me a pan percentage of 6.36%. I didn't have a goal for this year. I think maybe I started out saying 10%. Obviously, I probably would have had 10% if I didn't buy eyeshadow this year, but obviously that was not happening. But yeah, I mean, 47 pans is huge. I don't know. When I started this project, I don't think I think I had probably less than 10 pans in my collection. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to check my my intro if I mentioned it, and I'll put it on the screen if I'm able to find out how many pans I had at that time of year. But I mean, 47 pans is such a so good, and I mean a lot of that was from this year panning, so I'm really, really happy about that. And overall, I'm just really excited with how this project went. I think it taught me a lot about panning eyeshadow and my preferences were. I mean, my rules for this project changed many, many times over the course of the year, which kind of segues into what I wanted to talk about next, which are my rules for my pan those shadows in the future. And the reason I'm mentioning this is in case you want to take kind of the way I'm planning on using pan those shadows, and if you want to use it in this way as well. So I think I mentioned this in the last update, but I'm going to be going for a prompt-based pan those shadows, and I'm going to start it in January. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break. Right now I'm doing a use one palette every day until the end of the year, or until I've used them all. I kind of give myself some breathing room for no makeup days, single shadows, whatever I want. And I'm doing that on Instagram, so I'm trying to do daily looks on my Instagram stories, so head on over there. It's just Makeup with Lainey, and check those looks out if you are interested in following along. But so I'm taking a little bit of break from Pan Those Shadows. I thought I would just go over the rules that I'm planning on right now for my Pan Those Shadows 2022. I'm going to work on 5 shadows at a time, and like I said, it's going to be prompt based. So I'm going to link the spreadsheet I've created down below if you would like to use it. I'm not creating a formal project or anything. It's just if you want to use those prompts or as inspiration, they'll be linked down below. And because because using those prompts, I'll be picking my own shadows. I know myself, and I know I'm going to try to pick all shimmers, and I don't want to do that. So I'm setting a rule that I have to have 2 mattes in at all times, and say I only have 1 matte in and I roll the work on a blue shimmer prompt, I will have to re-roll so I can get a prompt where I can roll in a matte shadow. I thought about doing, if you get the one that says like a whatever color shimmer, just change it to the matte, but I decided, let's just re-roll completely. This year my goals were to hit pan, or I started out doing 30 uses, then I moved it down to 20. Next year I think I'm going to move it down to 15, just because I think that'll work out for me a little bit better. We're going to randomly generate the prompts. I also looking back on my intro, I know I gave myself vetoes, which I didn't really end up following through with, or partially using and then forgetting. So I am going to try to give myself 5 vetoes next year, and that's for prompts, or if I pick a shadow and I just don't like panning it, I can roll it out. So I'm planning on that. And then as for kind of some mini goals or kind of shadows I'll be rolling in a lot, I think my frequent flyers will be my Lunar Beauty Moonspell 1 palette, as well as my Beauty Bay Book of Magic palette. There's a theme going on there, not intentionally, but Beauty Bay Book of Magic, I would really like to hit all of the pans in that palette next year. I think I'm like halfway through panning it, so that one will definitely be in a lot. Moonspell, I've gotten a lot of great use on it this year, and I would love to continue that into next year. And then I also think I'll focus on my indie shadows a lot, which kind of leaves me to my next mini goal, which is I would like to hit pan on at least 5 Clionadh stained glass shades, just because they're some of the most expensive shadows in my collection, and I would really like to see myself get use on them and hit pan. And I know even if I hit pan, I'm not going to use it all up, so let's hit that shiny pan. And then I would like to hit pan on at least 1 Lethal Cosmetics matte shadow, and that's because I still have the palette out. And that's just because I don't know how long it'll take. I think I've used Cascade 6 times in this project, and then maybe 1 or 2 times more. So I would just like to have a frame of reference to how difficult it is to pan these in general, and I would just like to kind of gather data on that, essentially. And then another thing I plan on doing is focusing on palettes that have no pan. So, for example, I might roll in my Lavender Chinchilla palette again and try to hit pan on at least 1 shade in this, or maybe my Child palette. I think maybe I'll try to roll Float Your Crib back in and try to hit pan on it. So I think next year is all about me rotating my makeup more, actually panning shadows I want to use. I think I love the beauty of randomly generating a shade, But if I randomly generate a prompt, that way I can kind of match it to the season, or I threw in prompts that are like a red shimmer, a red matte, or whatever that will still get me out of my comfort zone. But sometimes you get a shade you just don't want to pan, and I want it to be fun, so that's my plan for next year. If you're interested in doing something similar, I will link that spreadsheet down below. You can use it or use it as inspiration. If you do use the spreadsheet, just so you know, there are prompts on there more than once, and that's on purpose. That's like, for example, I think I did a shadow you want to pan or a shadow you don't want to pan. I put that on more than once, and that's just to boost the number that appears in the spreadsheet, so you have a higher chance of getting it. Not by much. I don't think I put it in more than maybe 4 or 5 times, but yeah, I did that on purpose. You can take out the extras if you want and fill them in with something else. But yeah, I just wanted to give this quick finale update. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know how your Pan Those Shadows is going down below. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, leave a comment if you like down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!